Welcome back to JNR Ministry for Kids. Now today, we're going to learn a lesson in the fall of man. In the story, it's called Adam and Eve. Now last week we was in Genesis, and that is where we will read about Adam and Eve. Now, let's see. We had been talking about God creating earth. God created animals. God created man and his wife, Eve. Genesis 2, I believe we was in. So, let's go to the story of Adam and Eve. Now, friends, can you think of how many rules you have either at home or at school or anywhere else? Well, this story has but one rule for Adam and Eve. Can you guess? No, not yet? Well, let's get into the story so you can figure out the one rule. Adam was the first man who ever lived. God created him from the dust of the earth and breathed life into him. God knew that Adam would be lonely by himself, so he had a plan to create a partner for him. But before he did, God showed Adam all of the animals so that Adam could name them. Did you know he can name all the animals? That's very exciting. Adam named all the animals. Wow. While he was naming the animals, Adam noticed that every animal had a partner. So, this is why God made Eve. Right? He needed a partner also. God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. Now you remember? Okay. Shh. Listen to the story. So that he could remove one of his ribs. You know where a rib is? That's right. So, he removed one of his ribs and formed a woman. This woman was called Eve. She was the very first woman who ever lived. Wow. Adam and Eve worked together in taking care of the Garden of Eden. So fascinating. You know, God commanded them to take care of Eden. They were so happy in the garden that they did not even feel embarrassed, and they wore no clothes. Can you just imagine not having clothes on? Just out in the open? Nowadays, there's so many people, we would be embarrassed. God took good care of Adam and Eve, though. He gave them many trees with good fruit to eat. God said, "The fruit on these trees is for you to enjoy. But do not eat the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden. If you do, something terrible called death will happen to you. Adam and Eve did not even know what death was because no one had ever eaten the fruit. So no one had ever died. One day, Eve was walking through the garden alone. That would be scary. Very scary. When she heard a strange voice. Eve started looking around to see who was talking to her. While she was looking at the tree in the middle of the garden, she saw a snake. I would head for the hills if it was for me. If it was me, I'm gone if I see a snake. Eve was surprised that a snake was talking to her. What Eve didn't know was that it was really Satan who was talking to her through the snake. He's very deceitful, and that means he will lie to you and get you to think something he wants you to think by telling you lies. Lies. That evil man. Or Satan. That evil Satan. Did God really say you should not eat the fruit from any tree in the garden? The snake asked. God said we may eat the fruit from any tree except for the one in the middle of the garden, Eve said. God said something terrible would happen to us if we ate any of the fruit from that tree. Nothing terrible will happen to you, the snake hissed. In fact, God knows that if you eat some of the fruit, you'll be like him. You will know the difference between right and wrong. Eve looked at the fruit on the tree and thought, the fruit is beautiful. It looks like it would taste good, too. Besides, if it will make us wise like God, nothing terrible could happen to us. So she picked the fruit and ate it. Yup. And then if that wasn't bad enough, then Eve also gave some of the fruit to Adam. When Adam saw the beautiful fruit Eve had brought him, he took the fruit from her and ate it. And suddenly Adam and Eve began to feel unhappy. Nothing seemed as beautiful or nice as it was before. Adam and Eve knew that something terrible happened. They disobeyed God. Uh-oh. When they heard God in the garden, they ran away and hid. Adam, God called. But Adam didn't answer. God called again. Adam, where are you? Sound familiar, huh? When your parents are looking for you. Finally, Adam said, I heard you calling, and I was afraid. So I ran away and hid. God knew what Adam and Eve had done, but he wanted them to tell him. So he asked, "Did you eat from the tree I told you not to eat from?" "Eve gave the fruit to me," said Adam. "But the snake told me to eat it," said Eve. How sad. How sad God was. "You have disobeyed me," he said. "Adam, you and Eve must leave the garden. From now on, things will be harder for you. You will have to plant your own gardens for food, and you will not be as happy as you were here." Adam and Eve were sad too. Something terrible had happened to them, just as God had said it would. Adam and Eve knew they had done wrong and deserved to be punished. Would you disobey God? Me either. But there it is, 10 Commandments. And I will put the kid version of the 10 Commandments at the end of this video. There's a story for later, kids. I'll tell you later sometime in our future videos how those 10 Commandments came to be from God. So, Adam and Eve put on the clothes God gave them, which were made from animal skins instead of leaves, and walked slowly and sadly out of the beautiful garden that had been their home. They were never allowed to come back to the garden. Okay, kids, my question of the day is, what was the name of the place Adam and Eve lived? It's not just garden. What kind of garden? What's the garden's name? Oh, you know it's the Garden of Eden. Alright, friends, now I'm going to send you over to Dave the donkey for the, lessons, Bible verse of the day. He is a good friend of mine. And I will see you next time for our next story. I hope you will come back. Thank you, friends.
Ni-ha! It is I, Dave the donkey. And today's verse is, "Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." James 4:7. And that's today's verse, kids. See you next time.
He's got the
Ni-ha!
whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.